Okay, today is Thursday, February 8th, 2024. Still got to get used to saying that. So, this stuff is still a little tacky. It's probably going to take still another couple days to dry. Like it's very firm. Like I could probably yank on these and it wouldn't do anything. But yeah, it's still. It's still a little tacky, so it's still going to be another couple days to dry, or not dry, but cure. I think it's been, 4 days this has been drying, and yeah, I'm sure it would have it would have been, rock hard by now, or not rock hard because it doesn't get that hard, but it would have been completely cured by now if it was 80 degrees outside. But overnight it's close to freezing, and during the day it gets up around 55ish sometimes. At least the last few days it has. So it's just it's going to take a long time, but I've got plenty of other stuff to do. So I started taking the weights out of there. These were filled with foam, so I'm just taking as much foam out as I can, and then I'm going to dissolve the rest. Take those bullnose weights out of there that I mistakenly put in. But in hindsight, I'm kind of glad I put them in that way, because they'll be reasonably easy to remove without destroying those. So that is the actual weight that goes in there, which is significantly heavier. I would say it's 10-ish pounds. I didn't put it on a scale, but I'd say it's roughly that. I'm under the working theory that acetone will remove most of that. If not, I'll figure something out. Eventually I can get it out, even if I have to do it mechanically. I think I'm just going to put these in the same way as I put the other ones in, because basically what I did was I used epoxy along the edges just to get it firmly in there. The epoxy actually doesn't hold that well, or at least it didn't before. I think it does now, because it's really difficult to get those out. But I think I'm going to do the same thing, just epoxy this in, and then surround it with foam. I think it was like roughly half. Like you can see the residue there. It was about halfway foamed. So I'm just going to do the same thing, just surround it with foam, and it'll be just rock solid. I mean, those things are in there so well. That really worked well, and I don't have to destroy these or remake them. I just need to get the old ones out and put that one in. While this one is curing, assuming I can get those done in a reasonable amount of time, I'm going to start working on skinning the back of the plane, and making brackets for the back of this that are part of the structure of the wing. So though the brackets for that will probably come first, just because there's so many of them. That's going to take a while. Still waiting for an answer on the mount. Apparently it's in progress. UL Power is at some fair or air show or something, so they're not reachable right now, at least not easily reachable. So yeah, it's kind of pick and choose. I can do start doing the fuselage, or I can start doing the brackets for the wing, which is probably the most prudent thing to do, albeit not as fun. And of course, the priority right now is just getting these back to what they should be, and then go from there. Okay, today is Friday, February 9th, 2024. So I was able to get the weights out of there. They're sitting there. So those are the weights that actually go in. They go in nice and snug too, which is great. So they're basically the same shape as the as the leading edge extensions, so they really fit nicely. So when this is actually mounted here, so this comes up to about here, and the leading edge extensions come up to about here or so. So there was between a 1/16 of and an 1/8 of an inch space between the leading edge extensions and the frame here. So once that aluminum is glued on, it's it's going to stick out a 1/16 of an inch or so, and there just was not enough space between where the leading edge comes out, and it's kind of angled like that. You could see that the angle was just slightly inward, like a quarter of a degree, enough. Whatever the measurement was, it was enough that it was getting close to the fuselage, and even though there was space where it could freely move, it was so close that I really didn't want to put them on or put the skin on and then realize that those are completely they're rubbing up against the fuselage. So I brought these down, and they were pretty thick on the edge here, and I sort of planned for that because I knew it was going to be slightly off no matter what I did, and it was. So I just shaved a lot of that filler off, and then epoxied everything back just to kind of seal it up, and then I'll shave that mostly smooth. These are going to need another paint job. When I got a little bit of acetone on one of these, so the paint came off. But I'm going to have to be doing a lot of sanding and stuff, and it's not the end of the world to repaint these. They're small, and it's not that difficult. So once these are dry, I can which will be tomorrow. I can get those in and secure them and fit them back on the back there and double check that there is indeed a good 1/8 of an inch or more of space between this edge here and the fuselage. Don't expect to have really any issues. I put one of them on very temporarily without any weight or anything, and slid the thing on exactly where it would be, and after I shaved them, and it looks perfect. Like there's probably even a little bit more than an 1/8 of an inch, so they'll easily clear the fuselage, and they'll swing nice and free. The other good thing about these, you can tell just by the size of them, those are really heavy. So it will make a significant difference when everything is hooked back up with the controls, like moving the controls back and forth. Like it was kind of heavy, and I was thinking, geez, maybe not sure if that's right, and it wasn't right. So those will make a significant difference in the balance of that guy in the back. On this front, these are still curing. Like if I just touch this, it's tacky. It's just taking a long time to cure. It still gets fairly cold at night, so this isn't going to cure very fast. And even during the day, like today is a really warm day. I'm not actually wearing a jacket today. It's so warm. Got it close to 60, but most days it's in the 40s. So this is just going to take a long time to dry, but it also gives me an opportunity to finish stuff like this and get that done, and start working on skinning the fuselage and a few other miscellaneous tasks. So the next miscellaneous task is getting those on. Okay, today is Saturday, February 10th, 2024. So I have those very large, much heavier and properly shaped lead weights in there, and the foam around them is curing. And the same with that one. You can see a little bit squirting out the end there. That's fine. So those are curing, and I believe that stuff completely finishes expanding in about 24 hours. So the reason for all the clamps around the outside is so it doesn't push out on the metal and extend. Instead, it just extrudes out that way, and then I can cut the excess out. So those just need to dry, and then they're done. Once I got that on, I realized that the clamp that this big rod controls was just slightly off, just ever so slightly rotated and then re-screwed in, and then it'll be fine. So that's basically all I've really gotten done today, is those and fighting with that thing on the end there. The good news about that is, so what I actually did was, and that sitting on the table is no indicator because it's roughly level, but it's not perfect. Just by happenstance, it looks like it is, but so I had a very large rod on the top of the swivel back there, and then I came back here and ensured that everything lines up this way, and this one is super level because I spent a lot of time making sure it was. And that one now lines up perfect, whereas before it was just, you know, probably like an inch low on the one side. Like here, if you looked, it was like an inch low. On this front, this is a little less tacky than it was 2 days ago, but it still feels like it's not completely dry. Okay, today is Sunday, February 11th, 2024. So these cured as expected. The end of this one needed a little bit of fiberglass repair where I filled in the edge there. So that one will dry overnight. This one is pretty much done. It just needs to be sanded smooth and of course repainted where I made that boo-boo. And you know, it probably needs to be just sanded and completely repainted because there's a lot of gunk on there. These here, they're almost done. They're nowhere near as tacky as they were yesterday, so I can just feel a little bit of tackiness on there, but it's just about cured. I mean, they're not going to move. I already took off the straight edge. They just need you know, a day or two more to completely harden and have the same consistency as the stabilator that came already pro sealed. So I want it to have that kind of same feel to it, that rubbery texture. This has a little bit of a tackiness to it. So this guy over here is completely straight, but one of the things I realized was I thought I got lucky and I wouldn't have to cut this notch in order for that to come the next you know, quarter inch or whatever it is up, so it, you know, it can go past this thing here. So you can see the pencil marks, but I'm going to call it a night and come back and cut that later. So this needs a small notch in it to pass through this. Like once I got it leveled, because it was a little low on this side, I had to, once I pulled the sticks all the way back, I could see that, okay, this, I didn't get lucky, it was just too low. So this does need to be cut slightly, and I will probably do that sometime next week, depending on when I can get away from work. But that is it for now. Okay, today is Friday, February 16th, 2024. So this guy is finally attached. It's really difficult to get up in there and get the bolts in there probably tore up half of my hands trying to get that on there, but it's finally done. So there's a few washers and nuts and stuff to put back on, like the swivel on the bottom there, but I'll do it tomorrow. So I'm really happy with this now. It is completely straight now, and I don't have to, it's one less thing I have to worry about. The other thing I got done, so this one was fine the way it was. I just had to sand it down and everything was fine. This one had a few deeper spots that needed to be filled in, basically the front there, but there was also kind of some roughness in the center there that wasn't completely filled in like this one was. So I'm just waiting for that to dry. It's probably dry already. This is the fairly quickly drying fiberglass, still a little tacky. So that is just going to dry overnight, and it should be ready to sand tomorrow. This is just about done. I can feel just a slight amount of tackiness. Every like 3 or 4 days, you can feel a difference, and this feels like it's almost dry. The warm weather that we were supposed to have never really happened. It only happened for a couple days, so it still gets pretty cold at night, and it only gets up into the mid-40s. So this is just taking forever to cure, but it is almost cured. You can feel just a tad of tackiness. It doesn't feel like super dry like the stabilator that was already done feels like. So no rush to finish this yet, because I've still got to get all that finished and get these put back on. I still need to cut the notch right here, because after adjusting it, there is about a 1/4 of an inch of travel that's no longer there, and you can see it in the sticks. Like the sticks only go to the little past neutral, so this definitely needs a notch in it, like the drawing said you might have to do, and I do. So not a huge deal. I can probably get in there. I'll probably have to take some of this off to get in there without damaging anything, but it's not a big deal to cut a notch in there and get it done. And yeah, it's pain in the ass, but it's not the end of the world, and the drawing said that you might have to do that anyway, so I thought I was lucky, but I wasn't. So I'm gonna get that done and get the leading edge extensions finished, and start working on cutting out the metal for this, and that will keep me busy most of tomorrow. Okay, today is Saturday, February 17th. So I got all this put back together, and that notch is in there, and it's probably a little bit too much, but right now that set screw is probably set a little bit low, the one on this one on the top here, so it actually will go a little bit deeper than that, thus justifying the depth of that notch. So if you look at it from there, it's I cut it a little bit wider at the end, and then just enough room for that fixed piece. So if there's any wobble on the front, on the bell crank, then it easily clears that notch, and there's no issues. I don't expect there to be much, if any, but it's just a little bit wider at the front than it is at the back. And again, that's probably a little too deep by about, I don't know, 0.2 inches, but that also gives it some clearance. So it has rained kind of incessantly all winter. We get these runs of 2 or 3 days of just non-stop downpours, and it's just gotten extremely humid in here, and I'm already seeing a little bit of corrosion on that steel hinge rod, or whatever you want to call it, this rod that goes through the whole thing here. So when I get a chance, I'm going to give that a good blast and sand off as much as possible and paint that. I never painted the rod, I painted everything else. So I've got a hammer hanging here because this is pretty heavy. These are significantly heavier than they were, which is a good thing. So the paint on the top there doesn't matter. I just wanted to the paint there is just that part, it goes completely on the inside, so you'll never see it. I just wanted to paint this black. Before it was the same. It was the same color as the side, that light blue, but it kind of makes more sense to paint it black. So this guy isn't being painted yet because after I sanded it down, I noticed there was a couple of pits that needed to be filled in. So those are filled in with epoxy, and that stuff takes a good day to dry. So it's just gonna sit there until tomorrow, if I get out here at all. This has finally lost all of its tackiness. It feels like it's completely dry. It doesn't have that kind of stickiness. It feels like it's completely dry. I can start working on this now. I feel comfortable that these are completely dry. There is no tackiness whatsoever. Man, that took a long time to dry, but it is dry and it feels like really solid now. I'm going to try and sneak some time in to get that done while I'm also working on the wing. Okay, today is Sunday, February 18th, 2024. So this is basically all I got accomplished today. It's very tedious. You need to cut out, so these are conveniently 2 inches wide, so you don't have to get them exactly 2 inches wide in that dimension, but you have to cut out basically 2 by 2 squares and then bend them in half, so you have a bunch of L-shaped angles for the end of that. So I was able to get 21 angles out of one of those, which is I think what's required to do both sides of each one. I'll have to go back and look at the drawing to be sure. I think one side only has one angle because it's on the end. So I just need to count and make sure. But anyway, I just finished tonight. I just got that one strip finished, and it's dinner time, so I'm gonna call it a night. Then it's time to start thinking about skinning this. The other thing I want to do while I'm possibly waiting for this is get some of that skinning on the back done. I guess the other thing I finished, I didn't really do anything, I just took it off the rack. So this is done now. I just need to lightly sand that down, and I'm just gonna repaint both. I'm gonna sand that down a little bit and put the light blue on, and then put the stripe back on. Okay, today's Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. So it's been several days since I've been out here. Just been busy. So basically all I got done today was I just came out here, mixed up a little bit of primer, and primed the one side of those brackets. I'm just gonna let that dry, and then by tomorrow it will be dry enough that I can turn them over and paint the other side, and then give them another day or two to fully cure. This I was gonna paint today, but I found a couple little pits, so and there's no rush to finish it, so I fixed those two little problems, and I'll sand them smooth tomorrow, and then get it painted like that one. Okay, today is Friday, February 23rd, 2024. The epoxy that I put on there, it's still a little tacky. It's kind of odd. It doesn't usually take that long to completely harden, but it's still slightly tacky. So there's no rush to finish that. So I'm just gonna give it another day before before I sand it down. But those will look nice when they're done. They look like crap right now. Once I'm done, sanding everything down, painting the edge black, and redoing some of the paint on the surface, they'll look pretty nice. And they're much heavier than what I had before, which makes a huge difference on the stick force. So these guys, the reason they're slightly, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, I guess you can. The reason they're slightly blue is because there was a little bit of leftover paint on the outside of that cup that the activator for the epoxy kind of dissolved into the paint. So I gave the primer a bit of a blue hue. So I gave the underside that was already painted a fairly heavy coat, and the thin coat that I had put on this side, I added a second coat because it was a little on the thin side. So those will take 2 days to dry, especially in this at this temperature. Maybe even more. The underside, the side that I painted yesterday was still a little soft. It hadn't finished curing yet, so again, no rush on those. I think I referred to these as the wing skins in a previous video. These are not the wing skins. They happen to be shipped in the wing skin box over there. And I checked, and I do have all of the aluminum for the wing skins. These were, that's probably why they're a different color. This is the 0.016 aluminum that's used for the fuselage. I will start cutting out the aluminum for this. I'm going to start cutting out the skins and fitting them to the frame. Once the top is on, I can put the vertical stabilizer / rudder on. Okay, today is Saturday, February 24th, 2024. So a lot of the, no, I shouldn't say a lot, a few of these started, these are all the square pieces, the square, or at least they're mostly square. There's one round one there. So these are molly pipes and square pieces, and it's just been really humid. In fact, it's raining right now. It's been really humid all winter, and a lot of these started developing just a patina of rust on them. That end looks a lot worse than it actually is. It's a very, very light layer of rust, but I didn't want it to get any worse, so I started sanding it down and finishing it off with this Brillo pad. So these are the last two, but I'm kind of getting hungry, so I'm going to get out of here and finish the rest tomorrow. So yeah, these are the only ones that are left to do. The ones that haven't developed any rust at all, I'm not going to bother doing right now. I just didn't want these to get any worse, so I'm just priming them. I don't have anything practical to prime these big long pipes with to get all around them, so I'm just going to do the one side, and then when I get back here tomorrow, I'll do the other side, and then they'll be done, and I won't have to worry about them rusting. So these are all the, I just got them setting up here because they were in the way. So these are all the little L brackets that go down here. So this side only has one, and I did make the correct number. So those are finishing drying. They're already dry, but they need another day or so to completely cure. The primer is going to be soft. So no rush on those. I've got a lot of other things to do. I finally got around to sanding that completely smooth, or smooth enough, so I could paint that. Probably needs 2 coats because it kind of soaks into the fiberglass, but it turned out pretty well. So I think that's it. I got this table mostly cleared off, so I can lay these down and start marking out all of the sections that go on the top and sides to do that back end of the fuselage. So may get to that tomorrow. At the very least, I hope to get it traced out and this table completely cleaned off. So that is the major project coming up. Okay, today is Sunday, February 25th, 2024. So I got the protective film off the one side of this. That is a real workout. My hands are actually a little sore from peeling all that off. So this is going to go in the garbage bin. So it's just getting a little later in the day, so and it's not really warm enough to be able to prime this huge panel. So I'm going to wait until sometime next week. It's supposed to get quite a bit warmer, and I can get at least one side of this primed. You can see the alclad. It's really reflective. I got the rest of these pipes primed, so I don't need to worry about any more oxidation, and they can sit and wait for when they are needed. And I know some of these are used for the back seat frame that I'm not even going to build. I'm not going to do anything for the rear seat at all. It's just going to be one giant area for cargo. This one, I gave it a second coat of black paint. So these might actually need a second coat because the primer is a little on the thin side. So I think that's it for today. Okay, today is Monday, February 26th, 2024. So I finally got both sides of the plastic off, and it lays flat now. There's still one to do. I'm kind of running out of time though. I don't want to mix up a bunch of primer and not get out of here till super late. So I'm gonna wait and do it when I have a little more time. The basically I just need to clean this and use a Scotch-Brite pad lightly on it to give it a surface that the primer can cling to. So that's not a big deal. It just needs to be done. There's handprints and stuff all over it. So yeah, I guess the next big job is priming that, and then waiting a couple days, and then priming the other side, and then of course measuring the pieces that go on there and cutting them out. So looking forward to that. Okay, today is Saturday, March 2nd, 2024. So this has been drying for a few hours. It's almost dry to the touch, but there's a few spots that are still a little bit on the wet side. So this is going to take roughly 2 days to completely dry, and because I have to flip this over, I'm going to give it the full 2 days and then flip it over and do the other side. I was going to start priming some of this. Of course, I can't prime in where the fuel tanks are. So this is the first section. So the fuel tank bays are here, and here. So I won't be priming those. So I also need to pro seal these bolt heads that are holding these together. So each wing has any exposed parts need Pro Seal on them. So I was going to prime this and this, especially since I had a wet roller, but I ran out of paper towel, so I couldn't clean this properly. I have some towels, but they just don't work as nice. They don't clean as well as just regular paper towel. And I'm starting to run out of cleaner too, so I'm going to bring some more of that stuff either tomorrow or the next time I come out. So I guess as far as construction, so I got these put on. It's getting close to dinner time, so I'm going to call it quits for now. So I got up to there. So you can see this one here only has one on one side because that's the wing root. This is very tedious because you gotta clamp clamp these on and drill a pilot hole and then drill the final hole and then rivet it and then make sure everything stayed put and then do the next one, and it just probably takes 10 or 15 minutes to do each rib, so it's a little on the tedious side. Okay, today is Sunday, March 3rd, 2024. So I've started priming these, and I got up to basically the last 3/2 sections of spar. So the more important thing that I got done was all of the brackets are riveted on now. Those last few are blue because these got primed, obviously. So these middle ones I haven't painted at all. Obviously the fuel bays, it would be kind of dumb to prime these. I think what I'm gonna do though for this one here is see if I can clean that paint off, because I realized the activator and the primer actually dissolved that paint, so it's probably a good idea to remove that. So I don't know if you can even see that. Yeah, like there's one spot right there where you can see the orange paint just smeared into the primer. So this one here, I didn't want to. I could have done this side, but I also need to put Pro Seal around that bolt, and at least this side of the tank. Probably both of them, just because fuel could go through there. So so that needs to be Pro Sealed, and that, and then I'll once that's dry, I'll paint this side. This side will stay clean, except I'm going to clean that orange branding paint off. So this one is inside the fuel bays. This one here as well. This side of that one can be painted, but not this side. Similar to that one. So I basically ran out of time to do these last three, because it probably takes, I don't know, about 10-15 minutes to do each one. So it's just a matter of, that these are already on. It's just a matter of finishing the priming. And the other job was to very, very lightly sand. I think I used 180 grit and just lightly sanded the primer that was on here from I think it had about 14, maybe 16 hours to dry. So I lightly sanded it and then put on another coat. The next job is just to finish priming that side, then getting the spar on the end here. Okay, so the other little bit that I got done was finishing priming the rest of this. Because this is actually sitting on here, I'm just gonna wait for this to dry and then move it over and do that one. That's why that section there isn't done. And I don't need to pro seal that bolt because there's no fuel or anything there. I just kind of ran out of primer and it's sitting there anyway, so I'll just do it all at the same time. So this is the other side of the of this aluminum sheet that's going to be part of the fuselage skin. So the other side has been drying pretty much all week, and it's fully cured. So I turned it over and put it on a moving blanket, and then scuffed this side and got it primed. Scuffed and cleaned. It's amazing how much just grime and stuff can collect on that just from sitting there. So it took a little while to clean that off, but I got it done and it's primed now. So that's about it for tonight. And of course, which I think was one of the first insects alive this spring, immediately and promptly found his way onto the primer. So I had to clean that little bugger off and redo it was sitting somewhere around here. Like, there's like no insects here at all, and the one time I paint something, he finds his way into the hanger and lands on the primer. Not a big deal, just irksome. Okay, today is Saturday, March 9th, 2024. So I finished up priming the rest of this. So of course I had to swivel it to get everything, and when I swivel it around, there was quite a few places that I missed, but I kind of expected that. So both of these, like the whole thing has 2 coats on it now. It's just a matter of waiting for it to dry. So the other thing I got done on the wing is the Pro Seal on the bolt that goes through, and the Pro Seal on the bracket. And there's a bolt up there as well. So what I ended up doing was I pulled the bolt out and lathered it with Pro Seal, and then put it back in, and just the action of twisting it really worked it into that hole as much as possible. Of course I had to clean my wrenches off afterwards, but not a big deal. Of course this stuff stays workable for quite a while. So yeah, it's just basically take the bolt out, let the Pro Seal run through the hole, give the outside a good covering, make sure the whole thing is completely sealed, and that's about it. Same with these guys. It really didn't take much. I can't say how much I used, but it was just like a lump. Basically, just to do everything. It wasn't much. So yeah, that's done, and this one is sealed as well. So this side, now that it has now that it's been sealed, and once that dries, I do need to prime this side of the wing, of course, or not the wing. I need to prime this side of the ribs. So of course the inside of that one and these are all part of the fuel tank, so they don't get anything. Okay, this is the second coat of this. So in 2 days I can start cutting this up for the skin on there. So once this skin is done, this goes on along with those 2 guys. Got to clean that up. I think that the next big job is probably going to be cutting this up Once that's on the fuselage, then I will paint it, because obviously, the process of putting it on there is just going to scratch everything up. So I'll just wait until it's on there and then paint it, kind of like you do with a car. So I got this sanded off. As expected, it wasn't real difficult. Kind of bummed a little bit that I had to go all the way down to the primer on that one. A little bit on that one as well. It's just really hard to get off. A lot harder to get off than I expected it to be. So not a huge deal. I don't have the that color paint here. I've got a whole gallon of it that I got basically to do the rest of the plane, but I don't have it here, and the little pint is completely used up. The little bit that was in the bottom is hard as a rock, so that's not usable. So when I come back, I'll get that touched up, and then that little bit will be done. Okay, today is Friday, March 15th, 2024. So this dried significantly faster than this stuff up here, just because it was also significantly warmer. It got down close to freezing some nights, and when these were drying, and it was averaging 40s. So it just maybe 50s at the most. So we had a bit of a cold spell, so those took really long time to dry, like talking like a week and a half. These have been sitting roughly a week, and they're completely dry, and like there's no tackiness or anything on them. So those are done. So I got all the measurements done for this. So the first part that will go on is I'm actually going to do the bottom first, and then the top. The top needs to be cut for this here. So the first section, and that's pretty much what I've been doing the whole night, is just making sure I understand exactly how those are supposed to go on. So the first section goes all the way up to here, and that's about 87, 88 inches. So what I'm going to do is just cut these, a fair bit long, and then get them temporarily attached to the bottom and top and sides, and then mark off where they need to be cut. So one thing that's a little unusual, I think, is the top and sides and bottom all just kind of butt up against each other. There's no overlap, so I'm kind of thinking when I get those on, just run a little bit of fiberglass or epoxy down just where they meet, just to have a nice perfect edge on that. If you might want to comment below if that's a dumb idea, because it doesn't need to be done right away. I can do it after I get everything fitted. So on this side, so the other pieces overlap about an inch. So the sides and bottom and top of the first section come up to here, and then the other pieces overlap. So tomorrow I'm going to start getting the top and bottom cut out and measured to exact size on the frame, and then trimmed. So the basic process is getting them fitted, and then just clecoing them in place until you know that everything is going to fit properly, and then go ahead and secure them with rivets, and then the rest of it is contact cement. Obviously, this will need to be significantly better cleaned, because it gets just stuff falls from the ceiling all the time in here, and you can see on my hands it's constantly having to clean this. So this'll all have to be cleaned before anything goes on to it permanently, because once the contact cement is there, it's there forever. The aluminum for that front section is actually a little bit thicker. So this sheet that's primed on both sides is one of these, and there were two of these in the 0.016. So it's 0.016 on the back, and then 0.020 on the just on that last section, that big section. The other section with the thicker aluminum is from here to here. So those two big pillars there. So skin, I don't expect it to be too terribly difficult to skin that part. The complicated stuff comes back here, because there's a kind of a frame that comes up there, and there's a little tie down thing here, and so it kind of terminates near here, near the back of that. So everything is kind of nicely sealed off, and then the rudder comes out to there. So everything kind of works out really nice. I think there is a cutout in the very back for the trim rod, the rod that controls the trim tab. So, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Okay, today is March 16th, Saturday, 2024. So, just making a quick video here. So I've got this large aluminum piece kind of butt up against the bottom here. I figured that was probably the best way of getting the cut right, and just kind of tracing the outline of where everything needs to be cut, to be darn sure that it actually is cut right, because this is a big piece of aluminum and I don't want to screw it up. So there's a fair bit of excess, obviously, so especially here. I've got this traced out now, roughly, and I'm going to cut it out and then reattach it solidly. And then once everything is nice and crisply laid up on the frame, I'm going to trace the exact dimensions and then cut it out, the final size. So this first one is just gonna be a rough cut. Okay, I've got the bottom skin cut out and secured with as many clamps as I have, which should be enough. So this is ready to be traced out and cut to the exact size, and then I will be securing it with clecos on the corners, and that will be that. That might be all I'll get done today. So I have got this back off of the frame, so I just got it all marked. There's a whole bunch of erroneous lines, because I had started measuring this just by itself, and I thought, no, I better put this on the frame and get it exact. So that's what all the old lines are. So I put arrows around all of the lines that need to be it needs to be trimmed to. But I'm gonna do that tomorrow. So this is ready to be cut, and then it will be fit back on there with the corners held on with clecos. Okay, today is Sunday, March 17th. So I just got this cut out this afternoon, and I deliberately left about 1/8 of an inch margin on each side. just to be on the safe side, and it's exactly as I cut it, so no issues whatsoever. Everything lines up nicely, including the 1/8 of an inch excess on the end. That's a little less than I expected, actually. I thought I was going to overhang a little bit more than that, but it's actually a good thing. I don't have to cut as much. So this is done. I just got to take it off now. I wanted to make sure that everything fit. That's why there's so ridiculous number of clamps on here. I wanted to make sure it was perfectly flat, or at least as flat as I could get it. And I've got these two stands here to kind of help out. I kind of wish I had more of these because they're super handy. Anyway, so I'm going to take this off and trim it down to the final size, and then I will get the corners clecoed on, and then this part will be done for now. Okay, this is completely trimmed to size now, so you can see it butts up against the edge there nicely and all the way down, and the same with this side. So right now I'm just going to leave it for tonight. So I've got two clecos in there holding the corners. Eventually I will also have a cleco here and here, and I might actually go ahead and do that tonight before I leave. But I want to take this off, and I have some white primer. I'm just going to spray on the top of this, so the inside of it is bright white. And so these edges are held on, and wherever there's a part of the frame with contact cement. I may have actually said Pro Seal in other videos, but it's actually contact cement. So and I think it's the same contact cement that I used for a couple other things earlier in the build. What they were, I can't recall, but this whole thing is going to come off, and then I'm going to paint it just this side white, and then I'll work on actually gluing it on. So I think probably the easiest thing to do is clamp it a little bit at a time, like get the glue on there and put a crap ton of clamps on there. In fact, I think I'm going to go to Home Depot because they're super cheap too. I'm going to go to Home Depot and or Harbor Freight and get a bunch more clamps, so I can clamp them like every couple inches to make sure that this is like solid up against here while the glue is drying. So the only real rivets that you need are here and here. So like I was saying before, I'm going to do this kind of a section at a time, make sure this gets bonded, like in other words, so put the glue on only up to about here, get all this glued correctly, and have like a crap ton of clamps along here, and then move on to the next one. Put the glue on, and then put a crap ton of clamps, and then move on until I get to the front there. So I'm sure I'll need a lot of clamps when it comes to building the rest of the wing there. So having lots of clamps is never a bad idea, and they're not expensive. So yeah, I think that's it for tonight. Okay, today is Friday, March 22nd. So quite a few days later, I just could not get out here. I just had too many things to do at home and late meetings at work. So this is just white primer that I had left over. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just wanted, it actually turned out really nice, but I just wanted it white just to make servicing, if it's ever required, to be a little easier by painting the inside white. So I also got this moved over, so I pulled it out of the hanger and moved it over. So the wheel is kind of sitting on the line, basically where it's supposed to be. The reason I moved it over is because the engine's kind of in the way. Speaking of the engine, I finally got the final drawings for the mount, and they're in the process of putting that together. So hopefully I'll have some video of the engine hanging on the front of the airplane pretty soon, and it will not be quite so rear heavy as it is now. Like, you can literally, lift it with your pinky. It's it's just slightly aft heavy, or aft heavy right now with everything off, and then once everything's on the back there, it'll be really aft heavy. So I can imagine that the balance is going to be pretty good. I think the center of gravity falls around here somewhere, but we'll see. This is ready to glue on, so I think what I'm going to do is just do a section at a time. So I'll remove most of these clamps and glue a section on, then clamp it up, and then glue a section on, clamp it up. I think that's probably the best way of doing it, rather than trying to scoot it around and everything. It's already in the exact place it needs to be. So instead of putting the glue on and then trying to scoot it on before the glue dries, and once it makes contact with the cement, it's not going to move. It's not going to be very easy to move. So I think that's the way I want to put it on. And if that works out, I'll do the same thing with the top side. So the plan is to do the bottom first, then the top, and then finally the sides. I haven't even that sheet metal right there is the two sides, so that hasn't even been primed yet. So the top part is primed and everything, and I just need to cut it out and trim it to size, same thing as I did with the bottom half. So the task right now is just to glue this on and then get going on the top side. Okay, so this is all glued down now, so got a ludicrous number of clamps just to get as much pressure on that as possible, and I've gone around and kind of evened it out as much as possible, and the only thing I wish I had, and I probably should have done that before, was gotten a couple more of these. This one here is so small that I'm not worried about it, but this one here seems to be holding. There's nothing supporting it from the bottom, as well as these angle braces, and this one here, and that one there I don't have to worry about because it's clamped from the other side by all those small clamps. But this seems to be holding fine without any bottom pressure on those big those angled cross beams and these here. So hopefully that all works out. I've been kind of monitoring it and just kind of walking around making sure it's not letting go or anything, and it appears to be okay. So that contact cement is pretty much like the contact cement you'd use for like PVC pipe. It's very stringy, and it's not terribly difficult to work with. You can see like it dripped on stuff, and before I thought about it, because I was I was kind of peeling it up a little bit at a time, getting the glue everywhere it needs to be with a little bit of a margin, and then just peeling it up and clamping it on, peeling it up, clamping it on, peeling it up, clamping it on, and the glue stays tacky long enough to do that, so that wasn't an issue. I think the only tiny mistake I made is this here. This looks like it's way farther off than it is. It's just because of the angle of the camera. Like if you go like that, it's not sticking out. But this is when you get out as far as here, it's just a smidge too far, but this is very easy to trim on the frame. That's how I trimmed it to begin with. So even though it's like a 32nd or a 16th of an inch off, it doesn't matter. It's actually ended up straighter that way anyway, so it was probably a good thing, because it's like straight, exactly perfectly straight on that side and perfectly straight here. So when I trimmed it, it probably wasn't perfectly straight, but in any case, it's just a tad, and it's only about from here forward that it needs to just 16th of an inch, not even 16th of an inch, 32nd of an inch off the edge there, so it doesn't stick out. So that is it for tonight. This, as usual, took longer than I planned for it to be. Pro tip: these clamps, these little metal clamps, are they're like $1 a piece. So just go to Home Depot and buy every one they have. They're so cheap, you might as well just get a crap ton of them, because they're perfect for this. And I actually ran out and had to use some different clamps and some of these type, but I had enough to get the job done. It would have been nice to have another probably 20 of those clamps, because they're very easy and they're the perfect size for doing that. But anyway, this back end is just held on with a bunch of miscellaneous small clamps just to give a little bit of pressure on the edge there. The rivets, so there's a rivet on each corner. On this side, like, there was no real place to put it without going through 2 gussets. So I ended up on this one going a fair bit forward, so it's not like right on the corner. So this one here is closer to the corner, but again, I would have had to go right towards the edge here. This gusset kind of angles a little bit this way, but there's really not enough room to put the rivets, so I put it back here, and as long as there's 4 rivets holding it in place, who cares? I haven't gotten anything more done on the wing. I'm going to bring the truck out possibly tomorrow with the MDF to make the clamps, and what I'm probably going to do is just set the plywood aside and start working on the fuel first, the fuel lines that go in there, and then work on getting the skin on there. But it's starting to come along. It's skinning is one of the very last steps, so it's getting there. So yeah, I think that's it for tonight. Okay, today is Saturday, March 23rd. So 2024. So this glue is dry, and I've got all the clamps off. I still haven't trimmed that little bit that goes from about here to here that overlaps just a little bit too much. It looks like it's overlapping all the way. It's just because of the camera angle. So I'm getting this fit on right now. This is just the can barely see the camera screen because of the light, looking right at the lights in the ceiling. So this is the leftover piece from cutting out that big sheet, the bottom part of that big sheet. So each one of those sheets does 2 sides. So I'll be cutting out all the excess. So I'm just going to trace around the frame like I did the other one. That works really well, and then do a final trim on it, and then glue it same as I did the other one. So this worked out really well. There's a little glue boo-boo where some glue dripped on it, but I don't care about that. I just want most of it white so it's easy to see on the inside. So this ended up working out really well. This glue is a lot stronger than I thought it was. So I went around and tested it on all the big pieces and along the sides, and it is really, really strong. So I am not going to worry about it. I may eventually, you know, put a few more rivets in it, but I don't know if it's even really necessary because the plans certainly don't call for it, and it feels really strong. You know, I'm not going to put an elephant on there, but it's strong. So yeah, next job is putting cutting tracing out this around the frame, and then cutting it out and getting it trimmed to fit. So I've got this clamped in place now. It just needs to be reasonably firm so it doesn't move around while I'm tracing it. One thing you'll probably want to do is put some sort of, it doesn't have to be super heavy, but something with some heft to it in this spot here, because the frame, unlike the bottom, it's perfectly straight. The frame goes up from there, so you have to account for that curve and any that's going to pull this down. So you got to make sure that when you trace it, that doesn't get pulled down past the edge, because that would be a very bad thing. So yeah, it's just time to get this traced up and then cut out. Okay, can't remember what I videoed last, but so I've got this hole cut. It's actually just slightly too narrow here and here. It actually does fit, but there's just no room for play whatsoever. One of the other things I noticed too is with the skin on, there's a little bit of roughness where the excess Pro Seal is along the, but well, I'll just show you. So there's a little bit of excess roughness. That's not like a jagged edge of metal. That's just Pro Seal that got painted. So I need to sand that smooth because it interferes with here. Like before, when I had it on the frame with no skin on, it was just able to hang underneath and it didn't matter. But now it does, so it needs to be perfectly smooth. So when I went to put those just clecos, when I went to put the clecos in there, they wouldn't quite fit, and I could see why. Is because the Pro Seal was sticking out, and it wouldn't sit perfectly flat. When I adjusted everything, I had a 0.016 spacer in here to make sure that it was these holes were made at the proper height. So everything is fine. It's just I gotta trim the bottom of that. So what I'm gonna do is real quick, I'm going to slightly widen this, just like a 1/16 of an inch, just to give it some room to move around, and then I'm gonna put it up against there and paint it like I did the other one. This one was just matte primer. I actually got some El Cheapo paint to paint the underside of this, so this one will have just some cheap white paint on the bottom of it. So once I get that done, I'm done for the night. Okay, I got the extra bit of that hole shaved out just to give a little bit more play when I go to put the rudder on, and just got a quick coat of white paint on it. The mottled appearance is just from shadows from the overhead lights. It's fairly even. It just hasn't dried yet, so there's the lights just reflect weird on it. This did the same thing with the primer, so I'm expecting this to turn out pretty decent. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it to be white so it's easier to see in there. So I think that is it for tonight. Okay, today is Sunday, March 24th, 2024. So I got this mounted back on just with the clecos for now to make sure everything worked out. So shaving that little bit on the bottom, and this actually dipped down a little bit as well, so I had to shave the front of that as well. But yeah, everything fits fine. Looking at it through there, everything looks straight and even and all that, and perfectly centered. So super happy. Nothing, no real problems getting it on. Just had to shave that bottom bit off. So I'm gonna take this back off. Of course, there's a shroud that comes up from the front here and covers a little bit of this. I can't remember exactly how far back it goes, but either way, I just want to paint the whole thing rather than just brushing up against it. It'll be nice even paint job if I just roll it on the entire thing. Yeah, the fiberglass end needs to be put on there as well, but I think I'll probably put that on before I hoist it back up here. This thing is fairly light, but it's a bit of a workout constantly taking it down, putting it back up. So I need to do as much stuff as possible while it's down. This one's a little more complicated because there's a access panel that needs to go in here somewhere. So things are coming along. It's just a lot of nitpicky stuff that needs to get finished, and then I can start making it look like a plane again. It's, you know, it's coming together. The only thing that's the stabilator is waiting on is for me to get the sides on. Then the stabilator will be on. The mount it's not on its way, but I'm told it's being built. I need to call back and confirm that, but I believe it's being built. And yeah, then it's on to, you know, this front area, and then the doors and the windshield. The windshield is just plexiglass from Home Depot, and then Bede reimburses you for it. So if you bought a kit and you're wondering where the plexiglass is, don't look for it. You have to send them the receipt. I guess they've had difficulty shipping it and it getting damaged, scratched and stuff. So and it's easily accessible locally, so I think that's probably a good idea. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of the status of things. I got to clear that table up again so I can get the next sheet on there and start priming it. So lots of stuff to do. So the wing, I just want to get this done. So this is the stabilator is on there, and this is completely finished before I get busy on the wings, because if I get busy on the wings, I'm not going to want to do anything else. So unfortunately, the coolest part of the plane is just going to have to wait a little bit to get done. I mean, I can in between waiting for the primer to dry and stuff, I can get the fuel lines in and everything. And I picked up the plywood today for the to do the clamps for the skins, so I will have that when it's time to make those. And in between, you know, waiting for paint to dry and stuff, I can probably get a little bit of that done. So I think that's probably the plan of attack for now. Okay, so this is all glued on now, just like before. Just a crap ton of clamps holding everything down. A lot of little clamps on the end there for the very lip of that. So I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, as usual. I really wanted to get that primed, but it's getting kind of late and I want to get out of here. So the big delay in getting this glued down was I needed to torque all of the screws along, you know, all of this stuff and all the ones that are now underneath there. I had to both replace the washers because a lot of them had the wrong, the thicker washers, and there wasn't enough thread coming through the end of the nut. So I replaced all of those. There was 35 that had the wrong washer, so that took a while to replace all those and go through every single screw and make sure that they were all torqued correctly. You know, that probably took an hour and a half at least, maybe 2 hours. But at least everything I know for sure is torqued correctly, and they all have the right washers on them. So I don't have to worry about that. Obviously, I'm not going to get to painting this tonight, so that glue is going to dry overnight, and I'm hoping to get back out tomorrow. That heavy stuff that's sitting on there is just to add a little bit of weight to the cross members. I might need to put some glue and something really heavy on there to really close that gap. I've got these two heavy Lex extensions on, and the edge of that, because it's curved, it just you can see there's not a ton of glue making contact. And the only other way of doing it really is having something that expands this way from the bottom, but I don't have anything like that, so we'll see if I have to put a little bit more glue in there and really put something heavy down in there to close that gap. I will. So everything else is fine. Everything went well. Only one little boo-boo with the glue dripping there. So yeah, I didn't get a ton done. Well, I didn't get a lot of the stuff that I wanted to get done. So this, I finally remembered to bring the paint out here, so that's going to get touched up. I found a couple other small dings on it, so all that stuff will need to be touched up as well. And there's some areas on the other side of the hinge that need to be touched up as well. But it's all super minor. It's just tedious stuff that needs to be done, because once it's up here, it's super tall. It's hard to get up there. And I also need to put the fiberglass piece that's fiberglass piece over there. That needs to be secured onto there before it goes on. It doesn't have to be, but it'll be a lot easier. So I got that fitted on there earlier, and everything is nice and snug and perfect, and that hole is no bigger than it needs to be. So yeah, it's just a matter of waiting for this to dry. I'm really looking forward to just getting this this rear part done. I'm not gonna do the whole fuselage because I want to get back to that, but I'm looking forward to getting all of this done so I can put the stabilator back on, and then it's a matter of putting the sides on. The sides will take a little bit longer because at least one of them needs an access panel for getting in all these goodies. So yeah, I wanted to get more done, but I'm glad that I went through and torqued all the bolts and replaced all the thicker washers with thinner ones. So everything is done properly, and all the bolts are nice and tight per spec, and this is going to be done drying tomorrow. So I guess that's it for tonight. Okay, today is Monday, March 25th, 2024. So the glue for this is dry. It doesn't take very long to dry, but this is the next day after I left yesterday, and no problems. It's just glue it on, clamp it down, and voila, it's done. The only thing I really did tonight was get this primed. So I actually just put 2 coats on right away instead of putting one on, letting it fully dry, and then putting another one on fully dry. You basically got 2 options with this primer. You either let it completely cure for like 5 days and then sand it down, or wait about 30 minutes or so, depending on the temperature, and then put another coat on. So I chose option 2, and that seems to work just fine. It's laying down flat. It's already started curing. It has that glossy look to it. It looks a little bit more matte once it's completely dry, but it's pretty glossy right now because it's just started curing. I just finished like 5-10 minutes ago. So I'm just going to let this dry, just like these two. The sides are cut on out of one sheet, so one sheet's top and bottom, one sheet's the sides. So when I'm done, this will be skinned up to here, and I probably won't get out here until at least tomorrow night, probably not till Wednesday. I'm just kind of busy at work, so that, and I've got some yard work to do. So anyway, that is the skinning process so far. I think I might just go ahead and publish this as is, because you kind of get the idea, and this video won't get quite so long like so many of them do. So I guess that's it for today. Thanks for watching.